Okay, 6:43 on the 29th, Sunday. The I was sitting here looking at TikToks. I was just getting so tired. I was like, "Oh God, I just got to start. I'm too tired. I'm gonna fall asleep." Man, last night was rough, and I just keep on kicking myself for putting Max through this last bit of time. I should have just. It seemed really hard when he was like on an up though. When it seemed like he was doing good, to just be like, yeah, do it, man, it's fine. Because it seemed like, well, maybe he really does have autoimmune. Maybe it really is neurological. Maybe he's gonna have ups and downs. Maybe he's gonna get better. But no, now that we've gone through this last couple of weeks, it's like no. And as soon as he started going bad, I swear I called right away. But they just didn't have any appointments till the 30th. And so now we've gone through all this time and it's been rough. Man, last night was really rough. He's so uncomfortable. This morning I increased all of his pain med stuff, so he was up all night. And so I gave him some of the RSO today. And then also Stella has some kind of um, pain pill things, all natural. And Amy had sent me a link to those, and so I've gotten those. I gave him a couple of those too, and some CBD. So I gave him three things to try and help him with his pain because he's so uncomfortable. And he's so skinny and scrawny, and he just, oh God, it's just heartbreaking. So now we just got to get through today. It's like, what are we, about 25 hours until his appointment, and so maybe almost 26 hours. So I gotta get through that, and then and I don't want to go and take him somewhere that's not familiar, because there he's super comfortable. So he's just gonna be like, oh, okay, it's just another appointment. It's no big deal. So he won't be scared. And then plus now the only place to even go is emergency, and they charge you a few $100s just to go be seen. So it's like, oh, that's a little outrageous. So, anyways, we'll just make it through this day. And I keep wondering, what was my lesson in all this? What was my lesson? Did you hear the ding of their food cooking? And that's funny that it dinged right when I said, what is my lessons for all this? But that's really what the question is always to be asking yourself. What am I supposed to be learning from this? What am I supposed to be seeing from this? What did this experience happen? Why? What was the purpose of it? And that's the thing too, is when I called to make the appointment and they didn't have an appointment, then I thought, okay, well, I'll call. I said, call me if there's any cancellations. And I called 2 times during the week to check and see if there was any cancellations even. And they seemed to just kind of get irritated. So I was, I mean, you can only push so much. You can become desperate, and you can go in other directions. Like I could go desperately take him to the emergency and stuff like that. Um, but I feel like what is meant to be, and it will come. Like it happens naturally. So making the appointment, the universe knew when it was supposed to be, and then for there be no cancellations, which is so strange because every time I've ever called and made an appointment, it's always they have an appointment within a couple days. This time it was all that distance. It was like over a week, and then no cancellations. Because I've called to make an appointment, and they're like, "Oh, we just had cancellation." It's like, so no cancellations. Everything is like orchestrated. Everything is by design, and and then it's kind of like when you go and become desperate, it's like so you can see yourself fighting against the lessons that are there laid out for you. So to me, it's like the timing has a reason. The timing, there's a purpose. And there's a whole thing of like, because I went in for 2 appointments. They thought I was putting him down the first appointment. that one vet I said, and she was right. She was right when she said he has maybe a month left and it's going to be rough. It's like, jeez, I should have. But there's like some of that stuff you just don't want to believe. You want to think, well, maybe it's neurological, maybe it's autoimmune. But anyways, but she was right on. And so I think right now it seems kind of like it just made me question kind of and reevaluate like why we do things when we do them and stuff. And because I had gone back in, and then because he had another appointment and he seemed like he was doing better, and so I said, no, I don't want to do that one. And the one girl told me, well, sometimes when they have that they'll seem like they're doing good and then they'll just plummet down, and that's what he did. And so then it just I don't know, it doesn't really give like answers. It just gives you more picture. It gives you more of a picture of something, so you have more to reevaluate. Like when it comes down to it with Stella, which she seems like she's doing a lot better. And and one thing too is, when is his med bed's going to come? Which, there's still the possibility that this weekend is going to be the crash. Man, I hope not, because then, well, it just depends, because a lot of places cards won't work and stuff. So I don't know how that will work, I mean, it's kind of weird too, because if we're supposed to kind of get prepared, and then people are going and trying to go to the store and their cards won't work and they can't get any food, then it's going to be like, that's going to double up on their fear and their tension. But everything has to do with lessons. Everything has to do with what your lessons are that you're supposed to learn. And man, I am sitting out in the sun has made me really itchy. So I don't know what's going on about that, but like I'm super itchy. But so, because I know there's a lot of people who are just ignoring everything, ignoring the signs. They will fight you, come on, over some of this stuff. And so they are completely in denial about things changing. And I think if they're completely in denial, it's due to fear, or I don't know. A lot of things are about ignorance, because they hyper-focus on this. Like there's a hyper-focus on hating Donald, but so you don't see all the whole picture of all the things going on and how they could be linking in a different direction. So you don't realize, like, this is the crashing of the slave, the slave pay, their system that they've kept us trapped in. So, so I don't know how it would be if, I guess it will play out in a lot of different ways. So we'll see. We'll just have to see how things play out. But tomorrow, I'm glad my appointment's first thing in the morning. I didn't take the first appointment. I think because mine's at 8:30. I think the first one's like at 8. And then maybe at 8:15 is another, but I'm at 8:30. And so we'll go up there, get it done. And then I'll have to take him and bring him back here and have him so that they can see him. Last night they were all jumping up. They were all going crazy because he was having such a hard time. They all started freaking out. So they probably do have some kind of realization that something's going on with them. And then Archie kept going over and smelling his bed and stuff. And I kept thinking I wasn't sleeping at all. I was in so much pain, of my own pain. I don't even know what the hell. I would think it's something to do with the electromagnetic fields or something. But my body hurts so bad. Oh my God. And then I thought I was awake, just laying there thinking, but I must have fallen asleep because then I thought that Archie came over to me and his head had sunk in now. And I was crying and crying. I was like, oh my God, Archie's dying. I'm going to have to take him in too. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And so it was the weirdest dream. Some of these dreams seem so real. And it seems like you're really there and it's really happening. And so, anyways, but then when we woke up, and then he got up and he came over to me, his head's normal looking. But Max came over and just wanted to lay on me and just be rubbed. And it's just like, oh, I just feel so sorry for him. So, now I just, from the stuff that I've gone through over the past couple weeks, it just is like, man, I guess if you're going to trust the vet to give a diagnosis, to trust them when they say, yeah, he's only got a couple weeks left, and then not put him through it. It's like, as I'm like, well, I keep trying to think, okay, well, on the positive side, he has laid out in the sun and really enjoyed the sun. He has enjoyed just sitting and watching all of us. And he did go have his last romp, even though it turned out to be, I'm sure, very scary. Because when I took him all down to the river, he got stuck in the mud. And he was super scared. He couldn't get out of the mud. And I had to go get him out of the mud. So the other day when he took out, he would not come back. He does that all the time. He's like, nope, I got places to go. He's always been that way. And so he took off and he went down over there. I didn't even know he went down to the river. I thought he went into the neighbor's yard and was walking around in there. And I was surprised when he came back and he was all wet and muddy and covering him. So I know he got stuck and he couldn't get out of it. Well, he eventually got out of it, but he kept falling back down in it because it was all over him. And so I'm sure he was scared. And I don't know, kind of seems kind of a little bit sad for his last hurrah to be scary, but I don't know. However things are supposed to be, they're supposed to be. So whatever his experience was supposed to be this week, that's what it was supposed to be. And so it definitely is going to make me feel not like I'm doing the wrong thing in the morning. I definitely am not going to be questioning myself. I've been more questioning myself of why I've prolonged it and why I've, had him go through this, because I didn't want to feel like the bad guy. I didn't want to put him down or something, not trusting that maybe he was, dying. But anyways, but he's shown all the signs. He's just shriveling up. He's weak. And I don't know what his deal is with going from water to water. I know he can't swallow very good at all. And so I don't know if he thinks like if I go to the next water dish, maybe I can swallow better. But now even in the water dishes, it's like a regurgitation. Like all the food that's in his throat or something that won't go down just comes out into the water. It's so gross. The water dishes are disgusting. I have the dogs that all have different ones, but now I gave them a big bucket. Well, he goes out and now he wants to drink out of that bucket, and he's turning a whole bucket of water into slime. So crazy. But anyways, this will be the last day of all that. I was thinking, man, after this completion, I'm gonna have a lot less work to do, because when you have a sick animal, you just don't realize how much stuff you got to do all the time, cleaning up after him and taking care of him and doing stuff. It's just like, man, it's a lot. So anyways, tomorrow it will be, a big change in my dynamic of my time. And I think today I was thinking maybe I will go out and try and dump the bucket of water in a spot and see if I can dig it if it's all wet. So I can dig it. Because the whole thing, I'm with the cremation is like you just can't trust it all the way. Are they? You just don't know who is really, selling the bodies to the food thing, and how many of them are really giving you the ashes, and how many of them are just throwing them all in together and then just scooping some out and saying, "Here's yours." Like there's a lot of integrity that needs to be in a lot of the fields that we rely on and that we trust, but not all of them have integrity. So, anyways, it just seems like, I don't know, if I tried to dig a hole the other day and the ground was just like, no way, I could not even get the shovel in it. But I was thinking, okay, so if I try and make it mud and try and do it then and see if I can dig it, and if I can dig a deep enough hole, then I'll probably do the burying him, because I got to bring him home anyways. Because I was like, man, I got to go, I'm going to be lugging his dead body around. And then am I going to have to, once I get it here and let the dogs say their goodbyes, then, which I like it better for him to be able to be buried out there so that they, know they can go sit out there and stuff. But but if I have to do the cremation, I think I have to go and drive him someplace and leave him. So anyways, it's just like, I don't know what my day is going to be like tomorrow. Probably I'll be sad, but I think I'll be relieved. A lot will be relieved, because just watching what he's gone through. So anyways, but that's the, and then, Stella, it just, because that's the hardest goodbye there is, I swear to God, when you're super close to them like that, like she's feels like more like one of my children or something to me, especially because I had her since she was a little baby, and I've taken care of her, and we've gone through so much together. Plus, she's my spirit animal. We go through a lot of lives being there for each other. And so if it is that she's going to go, then I have to, man, letting go is hard. There's just no two ways about it. And, but still, we could be really close to the med beds, and that's going to change everything. But let me show you this video that I saw. I saw it last night, and then I looked at it again this morning. I'm just going to play a little piece of it. To trust what... man, this morning I was seeing lots of weird stuff on here. Like, it must be an Easter weird thing at some Catholic thing, and all of this whole parade thing, they have on like these long witch hats. It's really creepy. There's so many creepy, weird things, like, and people are all gathered there to watch. It's creepy. But, okay, let's...
Everyone's DNA, they use less than a third of the DNA. Did you know that there are immortal genes? Did you know that you have immortal DNAs? Did you know that you have the DNA to grow any part of your body, to change it any way you want to? Did you know you have the DNA of humanity? Did you know that you can turn a predisposition of genetics of blindness into a predisposition of sight? Did you know that you can tap your DNA to not only make you immortal, but reverse your aging? Do your genes have that? Yes, they do. It's what gene fingerprinting is all about in its infantile stages. But it's embarrassing when we really know it. Because the great question is, well, if I have an immortal gene, how come I'm not immortal? You know why? Because you focus only on your emotional means to an end. So your DNA holds what is replicant in you to an experience. You have never gone outside of yourself to create the experience of yourself. So the question becomes...
So it has more stuff like that, but I think that's what it has to do about with the med beds and stuff too, is the, it's, maybe it activates that part of our DNA. She says a lot of people's DNA is, well, I'll just let you listen to the rest of it.
What is the biological bridge between your DNA and that expanded experience? Right in the center of your brain sits the pineal gland. Ancient traditions called it the third eye. And researchers have found it contains a crystalline structure that is piezoelectric, meaning under the right biological conditions, it generates its own electrical charge. It operates as a bioantenna for the human system. This is the gland that is the physical gateway between your DNA's potential and your actual lived experience. Now here's the problem. Most of yours is calcified. Fluoride from your tap water, your toothpaste, your processed food, it builds calcium deposits around that gland over decades. The antenna gets blocked before it ever fires. Your DNA has the code. But the receiver is coated in mineral deposits. Did you know there is an herb that yogis and Ayurvedic healers used for over 5,000 years, specifically in meditation and healing practices? It's called haritaki. They didn't have this science, but they knew it opened something in the mind that nothing else could reach. I'll share more about it below.
So haritaki, I didn't even ever heard of that before. There was this other one too, was this guy. There was something with this guy. Well, I saw a couple of his videos, but this I'll show you.
It's important. They didn't tell you about it in school. Has to do with this fucking alien that's living inside of you.
This is what I'm talking
Always
about.
7. Always. 7 days in a week. 7 octaves of music. 7 colors in the spectrum. 7 chakras in the body. Don't worry if you're not spiritual. That thing controls your body, and you control that thing.
See that? So if you see the thing that he's talking about, is this? It's like an organic, it looks like an alien, and it has all these little branches, these little feelers. Let's see if I can make it bigger. So he is talking about, like, here's the alien that's inside of you, that you don't realize, because we're all aliens, from what we believe. We're not this. We're something different. We're an inhabitant inside of an avatar. But the thing is like, this even is like looking at it in a physical, but think of it as energy. So when you think of the energy being this energetic source, and then all of its feelers. So this would be like a diagram of, like, in a physical form, but we're not really physical. So, but think about that is the energy, but that is kind of like the appearance. If you try to take a snapshot or make it into a physical thing, is this ball with all these feelers coming out, which, you know, to some people that would be really creepy. But I mean, that's what you are. You're not what you think you are. And but I'll let you listen to some more of his too.
To the control centers that control your organs, like an RC card. That's how computers work too. A high-level language is translated down to binary so that the hardware can use it. In science, we know that there are 33 vertebrae in the spine. There are 33 degrees in Freemasonry. Jesus got crucified at 33. Kundalini, the caduceus, and the jet pillar also symbolized this flow of energy. The Great Pyramid and the Vitruvian Man also show where these translating centers are within the human body. They're little brains. They're like your heart brain, your gut brain, thinking with your... Look close. There's 7 on each. Applying that wisdom with our now very modern advances in science, we can combine them into something usable. That is what I've done with Code of Consciousness. I am super excited.
So, anyway, I think it's that guy too. Oh,
we may have lost the library
because he's talking about
still an ancient library in Tibet with 84,000 manuscripts, 5% of which are translated. It's called the Sakya Monastery, and the Dalai Lama hid here during the Cultural Revolution in China. They hid these.
So he was talking about a big library with a bunch of information. They've only translated 5% of it. But but anyways, we would think of ourselves as being monsters if we looked at it that way. But really it is more of an energy with it's like all of these, like, it's like how energy comes out. It's like a feelers though. And so that's what creates your experience. And gives you the sense of having senses, like the sense of touch, smell, taste. All of these are through this organism of you that is putting it's like putting all its feelers out so that it can feel. It's weird too, because if they really did turn off everything, the projector of all things, like if everything really went dark and we stopped seeing the illusion of self, and all it's going to be is a lot of orbs around. So we would just be looking at all these orbs, and that would be kind of like some kind of acid trip or something. People would probably be thinking that they got drugged or something. They wouldn't be able to understand what was happening. But yeah, we're not what they try and convince you that you are. But they have to convince you of this physical form and what you are, so that they can convince you you can die. So you live in fear, and you live in a disconnected state of consciousness. But and then make you fear of the God. So you are completely subservient, or what would that be like when you're really scared? So you'll do whatever they would want you to do. So you're not really living your truth. You're not really living to your full experience, because you are held back by the fear of death and by the fear of burning in hell for the rest of existence. So anyways, that's all lies, and it's all made up to try and create that scenario so that you do disconnect yourself from being able to live to your full potential or your full experience, so that you are here to learn and grow from all the things that you go through. And everything is, designed for your experience. And so, and that's the thing. See, this whole thing with Max is a part of my experience. But if I say, well, I don't like how this experience is going, so I'm going to desperately go around and knocking on doors trying to find some kind of place that will let me come in right now, right away, instead of letting it go with the flow, then that would be some other lesson. That would be learning about myself. And so, anyways, but I'm going in the other direction. I'm going to just go with the pace of what I feel is what is meant to be my experience. Also, I've been watching that show. It's called Monarch, Legacy of the Monsters. I really like it. It's really good. It might be kind of hokey or corny or something, but like I liked Godzilla movies and stuff. But now what is being shown is the corporate espionage of power over so you have these corporations that kind of like fight each other to have power, and then the military gets interjected in there too. And so it is a way to keep the people in ignorance, but have all the power and the knowledge being held by these upper echelon corporate CEOs and stuff like that, and billionaires. And they are the CEOs are still like the puppets to the billionaires, because it's all for their kind of benefit of control. Because kind of like they call them the Titans, all these big monsters. So all these ginormous monsters are the Titans, in which we've heard about the Titans. And so now King Kong is out, and he has his island, and so everything is peaceful if you don't mess with him. And he's got these different like cryptids or creatures and stuff that live on his island, but he's the king of the island, so he takes care of it. But there's portals everywhere. So there's all these portals all over the place, and that's how you go in. So it's like they came in through a portal into a space, and then took that space. And so, so there's portals and there's spaces where these monsters exist. And so there's like Godzilla, there's King Kong, there's all sorts of like things like we think of as being dinosaurs and stuff. But they are in existence in like a parallel universe. But you go through a portal to get there. But when the portal opens at different times, then they can come through. And so, and it has something to do too with radiation or something. And so, of course, they hire scientists and stuff trying to figure out stuff. And then you have the divide in the people that are working on this stuff of who wants to, of like the ethical integrity of what do you do with this information, kind of. What are we trying to accomplish here? And so, because they've already had an attack in San Francisco from Godzilla, came and attacked and destroyed San Francisco, and then they have the portals that you can go through. Well, when you go through them, time is different. So there was somebody who went into one and they didn't know that they thought the person was dead, but the person comes back like 100 years later and they haven't aged at all. And that person thinks that they have been in the other world for less than 2 months, because time moves so different in different realms of reality. But that's one thing about ours, is time is going to change. It's kind of like we make time too relevant. They've tried to create time to be a part of our evolution of our experience, so that they keep us trapped in time, so that we age, because they make money off of us in aging and stuff. But like that lady said, once we get a handle on our DNA, that we stop aging. We don't age. We can turn our health around. We can do all of these things because we have that power. Because this is an illusion, and we have the power to reflect ourselves in how we want to, but we also have to see our power. We also have to understand our power in order to do that. And that's what the awakening is kind of more about, is to give you your power back. So you understand that all of the limitations they created for you were created limitations to keep you trapped, to keep you enslaved. And that what they make money off of you, off of your ignorance, off of your declining your health, off of your desperation, your loneliness, your sadness, your resentment. They make money off of that, so they want to promote those things in the people. And by keeping us in division and keeping us sad and lonely and isolated, then that works to their benefit. And so, and then they try and sell us, their success stories, because they've come up with a magic pill that will fix it all for you. And but really, what you want to do to fix it is go inside, fix yourself, heal yourself, re-identify yourself, understand yourself, and understand this world and the magical part of it, and your power over it, so that you can start seeing yourself different, and you can see yourself as being how you want to see yourself, and you can change into being whatever you want to. But I think also a part of that is the change in the vibration. So when the vibrational boundary, the vibrational of this experience changes. So when it's kind of like I said, we're going on this, like we have this train, and it's going up this hill, and it's pulling, trying to pull all this weight behind it for change. Because even on something I was thinking about the other day, it was thinking about like what I would want or whatever, and being dissatisfied and wanting more. And then it was like, yeah, but it isn't to want more in this world. It is to let go of the things in this world, because so something different can come in. So it's not to be replaced in this world. It is to let go of it so that something better can come, because otherwise you're just taking what you get again here. And so it is it's way more efficient, way more important to just let go of this stuff here. And so if it makes sense, like the whole thing of like how, for the people who have left the scenario of how they've told us how we have to live and stuff, and have chose to live alternative lifestyles in order to not be a participant in the standardized way that they tell us that we need to live. And so when I was thinking, of like, when am I going to get a house or whatever, then it was like, yeah, well, it's not going to go back to the way it was. Things are going to change. I was even thinking, man, are they going to be cutting down trees still to make houses? Are we really going to start living in places made out of steel? And are we going to be living in places made out of clay? Are we going to stop stripping the world of its nutrients, of its resources? Like, I don't know. But I don't know how it's all going to play out. But I was like, however it was shown to me, it was like, it's not, you're not going to just all of a sudden go back and go and living like this. It's the breaking down of that. That's what's important, is the breaking down of how things used to be. So all the, because there's tons of people living in campers and camps and all sorts of ways people are living now. And that's, the breakdown. It's not like, I don't know how it's going to play out. But it's not like that you need to go back and go backwards. We need to keep moving forward. And forward is going to be something different. But so we're coming and we're pulling this energy and trying to get up over this hill, which this hill seems like it grows as we go. And so we're trying to get up over this hill, but the momentum's going to come from the caboose. The momentum's going to come from something pushing. And it's going to be like a reveal, a reveal that's going to create a shock wave, and that shock wave is going to push us up over the hill, and then we're going to come over the hill, and then when we come over the hill, that's when we go into the time of change. It's like the pendulum finally swinging back. So when it goes over the hill and it swings back, it's going to become very uncomfortable for a lot of people who haven't been working on themselves, but it's going to be the changing of the vibration. And so when the vibration changes, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be uncomfortable. But it's going to also make things where we do have more access to our DNA or something. We are going to be able to access into living forever, changing how you want to look, being who you want to be. But see, that there's people who are working on that right now, and it's like a slippery slope. You're not really getting anywhere. But I think it has to do with that we're still in this vibration of the storyline. So it's meant to be a certain storyline, and you can't break the storyline. But then once it flips, then the storyline shatters and we start a new storyline. And it's kind of like we write the storyline ourselves. And so that's when we start being like, well, we're going to live forever. We're going to age backwards. And because the med bed thing has to do with vibration. So I think it all has to do with vibration. But I swear to God, I think it is going to be it's like a vibration of our world is going to be more compatible to being able to see yourself different. Because right now, if you try and see yourself different, because I keep trying these things. I mean, I spend time working on, like my tooth heal, making my eye heal, working on trying to straighten my scoliosis, trying to make my tattoos disappear, all of those kinds of things. But then they're still there. And so I think it's when the vibration changes, then it is like, but it kind of is, it's weird because it's almost like in our sense of life and death, it's almost like this is the death of who you were. So the you that you were in this world is dying. And then it's like your rebirth. You're rebirthed into your better version of yourself. And then you will be able to like portray yourself, reflect yourself and how you see yourself. But see, that's why you have to learn to love yourself, because you want to have the reflection that reflects that you loving yourself, not you not liking yourself, because that is what your body reflects to you already. Your body reflects to you how you feel about yourself. And so, and it's so weird because so many people don't realize that. They don't realize like the things that are wrong with them. It comes from their own judgment of them own selves. And so if once they can stop judging themselves and forgive themselves and love themselves for who they are, then they let go of those physical anomalies or whatever they are, and those then you no longer see yourself that way because you forgive yourself. He's still awake and uncomfortable. Yeah, but I just, oh no. I mean, I guess if it gets too horrible, I'll just go to the ER thing. Man, it was rough last night too. I was trying to give him medicine. He was not wanting it. And so I got some chicken, put some on it, and I gave him like 3 droppers of CBD. It used to be like he'd have a half a dropper and he'd be knocked out for the day. He'd be just conked out sleeping, because he used to be the same way as Ruthie is. When Stella would get medicine, he'd come up like, oh, I want some too. And he would get a little bit, and then he'd just go over there and lay down and conk out. And now it's like, man, I'm giving him 2 droppers in his food 3 times a day, and then I've had to move it up to 3 droppers, and now even gave him some RSO and 2 of those pain pills. He's still having waking up. I know he's just so uncomfortable. We'll see. I mean, it's Sunday too. It's like. And I really thought all week, I kept thinking that they would call me with, I felt so sure that I was going to get called with the cancellation. So now it's just like, and I don't know, I don't know. I just got to see how things play out. Because it's not like the universe is trying to force you into doing certain things or spending a certain amount or something. The universe is just you giving yourself an experience, and the experience is like you evaluating your choices and what you do and how you do it and stuff. So anyways, we'll see. I mean, it could come down to it. If he seems just super miserable, just take him in the air. And it just sucks because they won't have any of his records. Then you're trying to convince him, oh, well, yeah, he's got cancer and he's dying. Because they don't know him. They don't know him from Adam. So, well, we got to have an examination. We got to do this. We got to run this test. We can't just do that. So, I don't know. I'll probably call first and see if that's what they're going to try and do. And then I could call one of the ones that come out to your house. I thought about that too, because I've got 4 numbers of them. I could call and see if they would come out and do it. That was nice because the ones where I was living in Maple Falls, and like they just went out, and I guess they would just come because they knew as soon as they came in with Winston, they hadn't seen him before. But as soon as they came in, you could smell it. You could smell the cancer. It was so like, oh God, it was so strong. Oh, it was horrible. A whole year. But I don't think it was quite a year, but it was almost a year of that smell. Oh God, it was so disgusting. But again, he was just like living his life. He wasn't having a lot of problems. It was only like right at the end. As soon as he started having pain, I called. And so that's another thing where I feel really bad about Max, because he's gone through a lot of pain over the last couple weeks. So anyways, we'll see. I'll have to just reevaluate throughout the day. If I can keep him comfortable, we'll go in the morning to his regular person. But if he just is having a miserable day, and then I'll just have to go the other way. So weird too, is because like, what kills him on the cancer? It's like, what they just go through all this pain and just pain and pain and pain, and then what is it that kills them? What do they die from? It's like, how long did it go on? Like, go on for months? Like, I have no idea. Because Winston had been going for a year with his almost a year, I think, with his diagnosis. And it was only towards the end where he started having a lot of pain. And so, but I mean, it was the end because I called. I mean, I don't know how much longer it would have gone. I don't know how close we were to the end. Just like with him. Because the whole thing, he's going to choke to death. Is that what kills him? Because, I don't know, is the cancer, like, does it finally close up in his throat where he can't swallow anything and then he dies of starvation? Like, shit. I don't know. It's rough, man. So, anyways, I guess I'll just have to reevaluate the day as it goes. And, probably, God, she's snoring her head off. She was, but she's been doing much better, not taking as much medicine at night, not waking up and whining so much. So, I don't know. But, I do feel like we just got to get to the med beds, and then she can get into the med bed and heal her arthritis in her hips and stuff. I think she'll be fine. I think she could definitely go another 5 or 10 years. So, I don't know. I don't know what's to come. There's definitely a lot of people talking about that the money crash is about to happen, but then you have the people who don't believe it, and they just argue about it, but it's coming. And just even when my brother's like, oh no, it's been 10 years, it's like, but that's the thing, is people think like things are supposed to happen really quick. Like it's going to crash. No, this has been a really systematic, long, drawn out thing that has been going on. And I guess it's to try and make it the most non-compromising, the most easiest, what is that called when they take a building down on purpose? And so they blow it, and they blow it in a certain way. So it's, I have this thing here, but it's controlled demolition. So we're in a controlled demolition of an entire system that we have relied on for a long time, and we are entangled in it. Like people have their futures wrapped up in it, and so it has to be this very slow takedown. It has to be very methodical. So it's but that doesn't mean it's not going to end. It's definitely going to end. And we're right on. I mean, every weekend could be the weekend it ends. It could end in the middle of the week. The weekend thing just was something that was put into a show on the X-Files movie. They said that that's how it would go. That it would happen on a Friday, but we wouldn't know till Monday. And they were always putting things in the show. Like this stuff with this monster show and showing all the portals, showing how it affects your age, showing how you go through them and how these different things come through them. And even bringing up the Titans, and they were talking about underneath us is a whole, they were talking about this in one of the things, underneath us, so in the inner earth, there's a whole series of tunnels and a whole nother world that they go, and you go through all that stuff. Kind of like, up here on the ground, we're walking around, and then right below me is the gophers, and they've got their whole little world underneath us. Which I guess I think an owl has moved in, because there definitely is not so many gopher holes now, or gopher mounds. That's very much reduced. So I think my brother was right. I think an owl has moved in, but I haven't seen it. But these owls are really little. They're not really huge. And they only come out in the evening, I guess. I guess gophers come out in the evening, because that's when they're always their mounds. But there was being so many mounds, and now there's not. So I think he's right. I think there is one. But anyways, but definitely the money thing is going to end. Definitely it's going to all change. Our whole existence is going to change. Our health is going to change. Our way that we take care of ourselves is going to change. How we live is going to change. And just everything. It's just like our whole thing is going to change. When we flip, it's like the train is going up, but once it goes over the hill, it's like a whole new world. It's like we don't see the world that's over there yet, because we're still trying to chug up this hill. But once we get to the top and we start going, it's like this whole world opens up. But that's going to be the part where it starts becoming super uncomfortable for so many people. There's going to be people who think, that they know everything that's going on. They're out there, talking about it. But then it's going to play out very different, because you've got people out there talking about all sorts of stuff, man. I hear all sorts of things. And so they don't see what's coming. And then, so once it goes, it's almost like they're going to be kind of embarrassed or humiliated or something, because it's the ego. So it's going to be humbling. But that's the whole thing, is you just want to humble yourself. You just want to... Hold on. It's always so weird when I open the door and there's light. Because usually when I open the door, it'll just be dark. And then the first time when I open it, it's light out. It's like, oh, that's so weird. It's like it's light out. So anyways, but there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go through a real necessity of the healing their spirit, healing their outlook on themselves, is their ego. So, and we'll see, because there's a lot of people out there saying all sorts of stuff, and just I don't know, just things on like talking about who's dead, and they're talking to them while they're dead and stuff. But I did see a couple of videos this morning of Daryl saying what Bashar had said, and it was all stuff that I have said. So I get confirmation all the time. Like, I know the stuff I'm saying isn't crazy, but this is, I don't know what other people's experiences are. I don't know where they're getting their information. I don't know. I just don't know. I know my information comes to me, and it's come to me ever since I was a little kid, and I've gone through my whole lifetime learning how to trust it, and learning how to communicate with it, learning how to interpret it. So I sometimes I feel like just like there was like this spiritual psychosis that happened. Like all these people, all of a sudden, they woke up to their spiritual side, and then they started hearing communication, and they just indulged into it. They didn't go out to try and learn or understand or grow. They just became it's very ego-driven. So, I don't know. And then all these people who got so, wrapped up in thinking that they were so much better than other people, I'm going to charge people for giving them direction, like it's up to them. Oh, which Allison Coe has a new video out today. Or I think it came out last night. Oh yeah, it was something about the Palladians. Something with the Palladian said blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I'm going to watch that probably. I don't know how many more I have on the Monster series. But I definitely want to finish that. But today, now we're back to overcast and colder temperatures. That's what it was. But it changes all the time. But yesterday I was sitting outside because the dogs kept wanting to be outside. So it shows sun this morning at 8:39 degrees, and then by 11, 58 degrees. But then it's going to go cloudy. But yesterday when they did that same thing, it took a long time for them to make the clouds. And then later in the evening, then the whole sky was just a whole new sky. So so sometimes when they're out there making the clouds, it's not really cloudy. It's just a lot of stuff. And then, so I don't know what's going to be, but it's supposed to be in the evening in the 70s. But this is the last day of that, because then we go into 50s and rain. So I don't know, we might sit, the dogs kept wanting to sit outside. Then next weekend is sunny again, but it's still only in the 60s. And then after that, it starts going in the 70s. But I don't know if that'll finally be like when the temperatures start going up, or if they're going to keep dropping back down and then go up a little, then go drop back down. I'm not familiar with their season here, how things go. Plus, everything's are kind of haywire. But usually, I mean, I swear in Spokane, it could be like there would be like a warm day or something. Then it would get cold again. But then it would warm, and then it would just stay going warm, 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 warm. It didn't keep going backwards. So far, we keep dropping. It'll be like nice, then drops. Nice, drops. So, these motherfucking allergies, man. That's what you get for sitting outside. So... God dang. So anyways, this is still, it's a good day to sit in and watch my shows. Especially over the next couple days, man. It's going to be cold and rainy and overcast. So tomorrow morning, when I go, because that's why I didn't want to go too early. But it is light. So, anyways... I'll probably get there a little early anyways. Maybe they'll take me back a little early. But then, so tomorrow morning it's only going to be like 45. That's not too freezing cold. But then it's going to start raining. I'm going to have to put up all my stuff again. Like sometimes... get stuff to sit out in the yard, but then it's like it's constantly move it up, move it out, move it up, move it out. It's like, oh man. So I will have to move it all. And I don't think I have a tarp anymore. Okay, I had a huge tarp and I left it from my mom. I did have one that I brought here, I thought. I don't know. That's what I need. Just move everything under a tarp. So, anyways, we'll see. We'll see what today brings us in the world of drama and chaos. There was a train derailment, I guess, in Nevada. So, I mean, there could be more. There can be anything can happen anytime. I mean, we've got things flying out of the sky. And even when there's a derailment, they can turn around and say, oh, it was an attack. Because they're really pushing on the attack thing. So, and that could be a part of how this is all supposed to play out. I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play out. We've got a lot of stuff going and anything can happen. And I just say you just got to be prepared. Have some stuff, you know, because really, yeah, if the money thing crashes and then people try and rush to the store, it will turn into chaos. Because people won't be able to use their cars. It will be just turning into people taking stuff. So, who knows, man, what the hell is ahead for us? Because a part of it is us. It's not just them. Not just what they're doing. It's us. It's how we react. It's how we handle things. And people aren't very prepared mentally, emotionally. They're not stable. And so that's why there's going to be a huge incline in healing, because when the dust settles, then people are going to really feel the impact of their own ignorance, their own immaturity, their own emotional immaturity. And then I think there's going to be a big rise in the people who were working on themselves. They're going to appear to have their shit together. They're going to be like, and I think they could start like looking younger and aging backwards and stuff. And so there's going to be something that occurs that's going to really motivate the other people to go in a certain direction, to be like, oh, I'm going this way. So it's and the path to go, is through healing, through letting go of who you were and really focusing on who you want to be, and not just another character, but who you feel in your core. And all of the things happening in the world right now are to help you to identify yourself. So anyways, it's going to be significant however it plays out, because there's going to be so many people that are going to be just flipped. The world's going to flip upside down, and there's going to be so much confusion. So, but there's a whole thing about why we've been working on empathy and compassion and learning just to love everybody, because it's going to be very, everybody's going to need it. Everybody's going to need to feel accepted and loved, because they're going to feel very judgmental on themselves for not listening, not seeing, not understanding. But they weren't meant to. If they were meant to, they would. They were meant to go through this process, because that was going to really heal and learn and teach them what it is that they needed to learn as a soul. So anyways, it's got to be coming quickly. So I say, when you're listening to people like me, then I'll keep telling you every time, the most important thing is learning how to love yourself. Be doing the process now. This is the time. This is your opportunity. Don't wait to the last minute. Don't be a part of the crowd. be the influencer. be the one who knows the direction to go, because you're listening to your soul. Your soul's telling you. And so and everything is going inside, because that's where your soul resides. And your soul is your communicator. It's your savior. So anyways, work on learning how to love yourself, working on learning how to love everybody else, and going through your experience and knowing how to maneuver through it, not letting it destroy you, not being beaten down through your experience. Learn how to negotiate through the eyes of experience. So anyways, we'll see how this day plays out, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.